send sales proposals. Like I mentioned earlier on that I will send you, I will send to your office at IRA. I'll send them the ebook that they will send to each and every one of you that you can use, that will guide you on how to write sales business proposals to, if you want to do business with other businesses, right? And then there's some guidelines in terms of tenders and stuff like that. So you need to get clients, you need to get into the habit of sending sales proposals. Like right now, sometimes it's not always about sending a proposal to your Pick and Pay and stuff like that. Sometimes it's about, if you are in farming and then you have eggs, you're selling eggs and stuff like that, go to the local supermarket, you know, and then say, I want to sell here, I want to supply you, right, with eggs. Sometimes it's not about supplying them with eggs. Sometimes it's about buying a shelf space. Go to your local spaza shop and say, I can bring on a weekly basis this number of eggs, and then either they buy from you, you become the supplier, or if they already have a supplier or something like that, you buy a shelf space, right? And then they get a particular cut from every sale of your eggs, right? So start thinking about sending sales proposals. Think about, if you're offering cleaning services, go to the churches, you know, the schools. I know that sometimes your rate could be on a monthly basis as a retainer. Maybe you're thinking 15K, and then if you realize that churches cannot afford that, some churches cannot afford that, but they can afford a particular fee which you find considerable, you may take them. And then there are other big churches, mega churches, that can actually afford to pay you 15K. So don't overlook local business. Don't overlook them. Right? If there's like some quota business happening, don't, you know, instead of them going to the markets outside of Joburg and stuff like that, they're in Soweto, be their middleman. You know, if you're farming the potatoes, sell them potatoes, supply them with potatoes. Or if you're not supplying, if you're not farming them, go fetch the potatoes for them and then sell to them. Right? So sometimes getting a contract is not always about doing business with government or the big corporates. Sometimes it's about even the local businesses. So don't overlook them, right? And okay, also even with the signages, let's say you're in the branding space. You design signages, you design billboards and posters and stuff like that. Go to churches and schools and say, I'll do a welcome board for you. I'll do a billboard for you. I'll do... That's money. That's money that is just sitting there locally. You don't want them to be going on Google searching for somebody who can do a billboard or a signage for them, or who can brand their car for them. Whereas you're there like 2 houses away from them. They need to know, even the people in your community, they need to know that you offer services, right? So I mean, you need to also activate that branding in your local community. So the second thing is tenders. So hear me here. I'm not talking about tenderpreneurship. You know, tenders are good. But the thing is, in South Africa, they've been branded, you know, they have these connotations attached to them. Like we think corruption, or we're thinking, you know, brown envelopes and stuff like that, right? As much as that is true, like things like that are happening, there's something good about tenders, and tenders can be a great way to make money. And you can actually be, your business can have a net worth of R1 million and over that through tenders. But today I need you to just shift your mindset a bit when it comes to tenders. I'm not talking about tenderpreneurship. Tenderpreneurship is when you're always waiting for an open tender. You're not really running a business. You're just waiting for when your local municipality is looking for a tender, somebody to provide particular services. You're always waiting. You're only active when they're looking for somebody who can offer particular services. Tenders is a contract. Getting a tender is a contract. So start moving from tender, because tender is attached to this corruption and stuff like that, and people giving business to people they like and stuff like that, and start moving to getting a contract, right? In that way, even in your efforts, you'll be able to invest yourself in terms of understanding the processes of tenders. How does that work? What does it take for you to get a tender? And as much as corruption is there, we cannot do anything, because corruption is people, right? But if you do your work and you're great, come on, nobody can ignore what's great. Be undeniable. don't lose hope. It's not always that everyone will be corrupt. You're gonna secure those contracts. There are people who are playing a fair game. So you're gonna get those contracts. So get into the habit of going on. Like earlier on, I mentioned that you need to have at least top 10 list of your ideal clients, such if there are any open tenders. Right? If you want to sell to your Department of Education, your APSA, whatever, go on and check if there are any tenders available. And then start familiarizing yourself with the process of tenders. Sometimes you even go there and ask them, how does it work? Right? Prepare yourself, get procurement ready, and then get assistance. There are people who can actually help you. Sometimes you actually even know how to do it, because sometimes is that a request for proposals, right? You just the request for codes, so you just need to code them for masks or whatever it is, right? So that's how you make money, right? But then people think about tenders. When we think about tenders, we get even resentful, because when we think tenders, we see people with flashy cars, we see corruption and stuff, but tenders can actually be good for you. You just need to just shift your paradigm and think about tenders as securing contract, doing business with businesses. And you need to understand that doing business with businesses can be rough, right? So you need to understand, you need to familiarize yourself with the process and how things work, but do not lose your values. When you lose your values, that's when you're going to get corrupt and you're going to receive or give brown envelopes. So yeah, advertising to get clients. You need to advertise. Earlier on, I mentioned that it's not enough to put up a status on your WhatsApp to your 14 people on WhatsApp, people that actually even know you and even know what you're offering. It's not effective. It's not enough to post on your Facebook page or a Facebook account to the people who know you, who possibly even know what you're already offering. Invest money, pay money to make money, right? So first of all, pay Google. Earlier on, I talked about Google My Business, which is free, which is like a free website, free online presence. In addition to that, there is Google advertising. You know, when you search a particular company or a particular service provider, you're looking for a makeup artist in Fort Lauderdale, and then you find a particular company being on top, and then on the left is an ad or sponsored. Those are the people who sponsored, who paid Google to make sure that people see them first, right? So you need to familiarize yourself with Google advertising. Go on Google and search. It's interesting. Go on Google to Google about Google advertising. Google search how Google ads work, right? If you cannot do it yourself, guys, spend money. Get somebody who specializes in that, who can actually help you to make money, right? So pay Google, right, for your advertising. Pay Facebook also. You know how why these things work, or they're important? Because instead of just advertising to a room full of people that you don't even know who they are, where they're coming from, it's paying Google or Facebook helps you to narrow down your target market, the people that you want to reach. If you're in Fosler and you wanna reach people who are in Fosler, who likes what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, who looks for this, who went to this kind of schools and stuff like that. Facebook, for example, your information on Facebook is actually what is going to help the algorithms to help that post to be in the face of that particular client. For example, you'll be scrolling on Facebook and you see this ad, you're like, okay, interesting, but you find it relevant to you, right? And this is based on the information on your Facebook profile, and also the things that you search on Facebook, or the brands that you engage with, and also what you search on Google or online anywhere, because Facebook also works with other apps and stuff like that. So your information, where you've been, it tracks you, right? It's like when you talk about something and then you see an ad about it, and you're like, okay, what just happened? It's because online, everything is capturing our data, the webcam, the audio, Bluetooth, whatever it is. Know that we should be paranoid, but that's what's happening. So when you pay Facebook and Google, it's going to help you to ensure that whatever advert that you want people to see, if it's an event that you're hosting, if whatever it is that you're selling, it's going to reach the right people, right? So the third thing on advertising, pay for ad space. The local newspapers, right? Start at home. Go check what it takes to be profiled. There's two things. There's advertorial feature and editorial feature. Editorial feature is when they profile you as a business owner. Network with people, it goes back to networking. When you know somebody, when you go to these networking sessions and you find out, oh, this person is an editor of whatever newspaper, locally or internationally, rather nationally, or even internationally, whatever it takes, because we are global business because of the internet, right? So, or sometimes it's a content producer on a radio show or a TV show. That's how you get to have an editorial feature where they profile you. By profiling you, they now talk about you in your business, and people get to know you. It works, right? And also there is advertorial feature where you can actually pay to advertise your services on a newspaper, right? I know that radio and TV can be quite high, quite expensive, but only when you can afford, you can do that. But for now, think about newspapers, the local newspapers, and pay them to do that. And also the influencers. Influencers is not always those guys with the Gucci's and stuff like that. Influencers is just somebody who has access to people that who has access to people that you want to sell to. The principal in school, if you want to sell to parents or students, your principal is your influencer, right? Anyone who has some sort of authority, who has access, who can speak and people listen. It's not always about the Gucci bags and the Gucci boxes and stuff like that. So think of who has mass access to the people that you want to sell to. Sometimes they may not want you to pay them. Sometimes you may need to pay them. The pastor at church, you know, the people in the congregation, maybe you want to sell to them, right? Ask. Maybe you do stuff for people who are getting married and stuff like that, the events and stuff like that. You ask for a slot, or you give them something, you give the pastor, whoever is the coordinator, to talk about it there, right? So pay influencers. And then pay local shops too, to put up the adverts on their shops. I don't know if they pay, because when we see those posters on their posts, on their shops and stuff like, I don't know if people pay. Ask, find out. When people go to buy bread and stuff like, they can see, oh, there is somebody who actually fix cell phones or something like that. Do that. Who bakes muffins, right? And the next time when there is a wedding or whatever ceremony, or when they just want to have some muffins or scones, they know, they saw it somewhere. Pay for that. Sometimes it's like 150. You can raise it. You can find a way to raise it, right? Pay billboards in your community or wherever it is needed. You know, billboards are not always those LED screens on the highway and stuff like that. Sometimes it's locally. You just find out, what does it take to have this board in your community? How much would it cost? Ask your traditional leaders, your municipality, what does it take to do that, to have something like that? Right? And then distribute flyers. You need to do that. It still works. It depends on who you're selling to. So some people still believe in that. As much as the social media and the internet, people think some methods are not relevant anymore. Some things are relevant. It just depends on who you are selling to, right? And then make calls when it comes to advertising. Pick up the phone and make calls. Sell yourself. It's not easy. For an introvert like me, it was not easy, but you gotta do it. Or impress somebody to do it. Or have somebody, you know, or outsource a service provider. For example, right now, it might be one of the people that you're part, who's one of the people that is that's part of this program, maybe is in marketing or advertising. Talk to them. Let them handle your marketing, and then you focus on what you're great at, you know, and then let them make money for you. Ask them, how do they do business and stuff like that, right? So use each other, work with each other. Okay, the fourth one is positioning yourself as an expert. So here's the thing. It goes back to, people won't buy from you if they don't know who you are, what you're capable of, and what they can do for you. It's very important to be the face of your business, right? And being the face of your business, it means being the go-to person or the go-to business for the kind of service that you offer. If you're a makeup artist or Tembisa, right? You want to be the best, the distinctive one, the one that people know, right? You want to be the one that people that talk about when people are hanging out and like, okay, there's the party coming up and then I need a makeup artist and stuff like that. Somebody should be saying your name. You need to talk to Hadi. You need to talk to Busi. So you need to talk to whoever. You want your name to be served when in the relevant spaces. So you need, and that doesn't just happen. It takes intentional planning and execution. You need to be intentional about being the go-to person. I'll give an example. In 2016, when I started a consulting company, I decided that I want to be a McKinsey company for small businesses. So meaning I want to be a strategic company for small businesses. Something that is not known. Like when people think about consulting, they think of business plan, stuff like that. But I wanted to offer strategic plans, business strategies, corporate strategies, and stuff like that. Business plans, not business plans only when you need funding, but the business plans that serves as strategic tools that you use to map out your game plan. You understand? So this is what I did. You can try it. To position myself as an expert in strategy consulting, as a business strategist, I started by educating my customers. So you need to decide what kind of service provider, what kind of brand are you going to be? Are you going to be, one thing I knew was that I'm not going to be cheap. That's something that I told myself, that even when I'm starting, I'm not going to be cheap. I don't want to be known as cheap. High quality, I know I can offer that, but I won't be cheap. So you decide where you want to position yourself in the market. And you want to be the premium brand. You know, your Gucci's and stuff like that, they position themselves that way, right? There's like specific connotations or, you know, connotations that are being attached to, like Willis, you know, Pep, you know, different brands, APSA. Well, there's certain things that you think about when you think about them, right? Capitec, you think of the Q, right? So there's a whole lot of stuff. So you need to be thinking about, what do you want people to be thinking about when they hear your name or your company name? You need to position yourself as an expert in that particular thing. After you've identified how you want to be known, how you want to be perceived in the market, then you need to be intentionally, you know, creating that perception, right? Everything in how you speak, in how you walk, in the branding material. If you want premium, you need to look premium, right? If you want to be charging 10K, you need to look like a company that can charge 10K. You understand? So you need to position yourself as an expert. And what it takes here is that you need to master your craft. Sometimes, most of us, when we start business, we start from our passions, our skills, our talents, and a hunch, like, okay, I think people would like this. It doesn't matter how you got into business. Maybe you got into business because you don't have a job. It doesn't matter. What matters is, like, how do you now look at yourself as a business, right? Jay-Z said these words, I like them. I'm a businessman. You are a businessman, so start treating. It doesn't matter how you got into business. You didn't have money, you couldn't do whatever. Cool, that's a cool story. But right now, start treating yourself like a business, right? So you need to master your craft. You may have stumbled over doing nails or hair and stuff like that. You like just thought, oh, maybe I can do it, or maybe you grew up just doing hair for other people. Now find ways to make yourself exceptional. Be excellent, be undeniable. So what is it that you can do to make sure that you become the best at what you do? You know, it's like cooking. There's a different, you go to a restaurant, right? And there's something about, even if the food may not be tasty or whatever, the presentation of it, there's a signature look to it. Sometimes it's in the design. If it's a shop, how it is the layout of the shop, right? Be excellent at something. It could be service, it could be the branding, it should give something. Whatever it is that you say that you're an expert or you should be known of, it should give that thing. For example, when I said I wanted to be a McKinsey company for small businesses, and I wanted to be premium, I didn't want to charge less. I don't want to be cheap. I'm not going to be cheap. So I started learning from, I subscribed into McKinsey newsletters to learn about how they work. I read books that were, there's a book that I read that, I covered the founding of McKinsey as a company, the strategies that they use and stuff like that. And I found a way to now contextualize it to small businesses. You have to, being excellent and mastering your craft has to do with you as a business, because your business can never grow beyond your vision, beyond your excellence. So being you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you need to be excellent first. And you can be excellent. You can be excellent. You just need to master your craft. If it's being at the barbershop, if it's cutting hair in such a way that you have a signature look. Then people, when they see somebody with their hair cards, they can tell that you must have done that, or because Busi or Jane or whoever, you must have that signature thing, right? So master your craft and educate yourself. Educate yourself, learn and learn and learn. Being your own boss and, earning the CEO title means that you need to be excellent at what you do. And people want to do business with you when you know your stuff, right? So after you have mastered your craft, you need to now, after you're positioning yourself as an expert, after you've mastered your craft, you need to now show off your skills, right? If you do makeup, you're a makeup artist, you do nails and stuff like that, do tutorials, show people, show off what you can do, right? If you write blogs, about your business, show people that you know what you're doing, right? So that when they see your thought leadership, then they can know, oh, she's really good. And, when people trust that you can do your work, they're not going to care whether you have a degree, whether you went to school for this, whether you're working from home, and they don't care. They just want you to do the work. They trust you, right? And I can see that we have about a minute. We need to get to the Q&A. I'm sorry, I think I'm going to cut a little bit of 5 minutes or 2 minutes, right? After you show off your skills, you need to now get publicity. When people need to know you, so it's important. At some point, you need to be featured on radio, TV, and stuff like that. It builds your credibility, right? Be a speaker, public speaker. It's not necessarily about being a professional speaker where you're making money from this, but when there's an opportunity to speak about what you do, speak about it. When there's an opportunity to pitch. Then people should associate what you do with you, right? And I'm not talking about your company name, because when people follow you as a founder, then they're following you to a business. It's the same thing as Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, right? We know about Mark, and then we associate Mark with Facebook. When you think of Facebook, you think of Mark, right? So when you think about your business, you need to think about you also, right? So, and the goal with positioning yourself as an expert is about decreasing the prospecting, time and cost. People come to you. You no longer have to spend money trying to reach people and trying to advertise yourself. People already know you. Like, I heard about you. I saw you on TV. Oh, somebody was talking. My friend was talking about you. She said we did whatever. Oh, I saw an article about you. I saw you wrote something. Oh, it doesn't matter. The questions that people normally do of, where did you go to school for this? How many years of experience do you have? They don't matter, because you have already established yourself as an expert. So, outbound sales, we already talked about it. To get clients, you need to make calls and have an activation strategy. This is the last one. With an activation strategy, then it means that now you can't say that you want to make money. How many of you right now have a plan of how tomorrow they're going to be marketing themselves, what the marketing efforts will be? You need to have a plan. You need to know what time do you advertise on Facebook? Do you hang out on Facebook? What time or which days do you do sales? Do you make calls, right? Which days do you go on to do pitches, to pitch, to generate some leads, to talk to local businesses? You need to have that in a plan. You don't run business from your head. Have a plan on how you're going to do that. So yeah, the last one, which is I found it to be important, is charge premium. With charging premium, here's what's happening. People tend to trust price. As much as you got into business and you feel like you need money and stuff like that, charging cheap, like low prices, it doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to come to you. If anything, I have found people to go to people who charge more, because they tend to, there's a perception about pricing. If it's low, it means low quality. But if it's high, the chances are this person knows what they're doing, right? But also, unless if you want to position yourself like Pep, like your ShopRite, like your Capital, as like the lowest, like the one who, the company, the brand that wants to target the low, the low income clients. If you want to be known as the person to go to, if you have a budget, like if you're working around a budget, be that. But unless that's your strategic positioning, when you position yourself as an expert, rethink how you charge. And that goes back with charging right? Charging right, here's the thing. I've learned to make money or to get clients. Most of us started businesses looking for income, employment, right? And you find that sometimes, say for example, let's say I charge a business plan for 5,000 rand, right? And then somebody comes and like, I have 2,000 rand and stuff like that. When you don't have money, it's easy for you to just go down. So don't be desperate. Charge right and stick to it. You know why you should charge right and stick to it? Because when you're desperate, you end up discounting, offering discounts. People come into and they disrespect you when they discount, when they ask for discounts and stuff like that. That's disrespect, and that's you disrespecting your business. And when that happens, you're never going to make enough money because you're always going down. Sometimes you need to let that 2K to pass and wait for the 5K that you want, right? And another thing, there is just something about desperation, right? When you're desperate to make money, it has some sort of negative energy or laziness around it. So when you know, let's say for example, you're renting out, and then you can sort of, it's the second week and you haven't made any money, and damn, and you need money for rent, right? Stress starts, anxiety starts, and it means when somebody comes in with the low price, when somebody comes in, the customers start having this high bargaining power. They can bargain with you to say, oh, I only have 1K. And because you're desperate, you end up going for that, right? So my advice for you when it comes to charging premium and charging right is that if you're an entrepreneur and that's practically you, like your success, your future is like predicament order is predicated on that. You have to make sure that you do what I call a threshold income, right? Think about your expenses, your personal expenses, all right? You're still starting out. If your personal expenses, like all your bills is like 5K, so you need to make sure that, then you know that to break even, you need about 5K, 10K, that's 5K, that's on a personal level. So you need 10K, 5K is gonna go for your bills, personal bills, and 5K is your own pocket, like your salary, so to speak, your stipend, right? Then from there, double or triple that threshold income, right? The break-even figure, double or triple, meaning make it 20K or 30K, right? Let's just say 20K. So you know that 5K is what it takes to cover your bills, and 5K is what you're gonna take as a stipend, not yet a salary, right? Or it could be a salary. And then that's your 10K, right? And then you double the 10K by making double or triple. Let's say double, 20K. Then 10K is for the business. You know how this helps? It helps us because first you know that, okay, on a monthly basis, the threshold income that they need to make is 20,000 rands. And to make 20,000 rands, you go back to your business and products, your products and services. How many products do I need to sell to get to 20K? Right? Then now it now influences your advertising. How am I going to get these clients? Name the names of the clients that you're going to sell to, right? Then it means maybe within the first 2 weeks you've already reached, maybe you need only 10 clients or 5 clients, depending on your pricing and your sales value. And then okay, fine, if I can only get 4 clients, I'm good, I'm covered, right? Then it means no stress for you when people come with the discounts. You're not under pressure for rent and stuff like that. So meaning when people come and they say, hey, I only have this, no, you come back when you have the money that I need, that I want, right? And you know what, discount and disrespect your business. And also you're going to have resilience, you're going to be happy. There's this freedom, you work easily when you know that you're covered personally and everything is taken care of, and then you're just making money for profit now. You're just making money so that next month you can have a cash flow, right? So do that. Start thinking about it. Start there, and then as you go and you get into that habit, then you can increase the income that you make. But right now, please think of your expenses, because you don't want to end up now using the business money for your own personal stuff, doing e-wallet and sending people e-wallets with the money that is not yours, but your businesses, and you end up going on CIPC and SARS and then filing zero, but you made money because they send it to you, Kosha Pride. You don't want to do that. So if you want to avoid that and start having a business banking account, you need to start thinking about you first. You got into this business because you have no other source of income. So this is your income. So start thinking about your personal expenses and then double that, triple that, and then you know the minimum amount of money that you need to make, and then start putting in there